What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Avarice Trading Podcast. I'm Devin. Today we're going to be doing a TV series commentary, which is a slight change of pace. I've never done a TV series one before. It's always been movies. But I have this new goal of being, I don't want to say prolific, but I want to be very consistent. I want to put out one piece of content on YouTube every single day. And as a result, I have to slightly ramp up my recording, production, whatever you want to call it. So, along with that, I'm going to need more content for me to view as the material for me to comment on. And there's a shitload of movies. I could never run out of movies to watch. But I don't want it to get so watered down that I'm watching shit that I have nothing to say about, that I've never seen before. I want to give myself a chance to see movies, new movies that I haven't seen from the past, and develop an opinion on those and work them into the mix. I don't want to just burn through my whole library of movies in an attempt to build this library of content, this archive. So I'm working in the TV shows, A, because I really wanted to do them anyway, and B, because it'll help go along with that. So at least once a week, the goal is twice a week, I'll be putting out a commentary track on a TV series. There won't be review videos to go along with them, to coincide with them, because I find it kind of pointless to do an episode by episode review of a TV show that's been off the air for a decade. I might do season recaps at the end. I haven't decided. But for now, it's just going to be audio podcast commentaries on the individual episodes. And we're starting with The Wire. And The Wire, I believe, is 50 episodes long. So at 2 a week, that's going to take me almost a whole year to get through them. We'll see what pace I'm able to maintain with that. But The Wire is my all-time favorite TV series. I would venture to say I like it better than any movie, but it's a different thing. A movie, in most instances, you have franchises and series and trilogies, but in most circumstances, a movie is a one-sitting, completely digestible form of entertainment, and it's, as a result, it has to be shallow because it has a time limit. It can't get too in-depth with all these characters and give you too much information, have too drastic or exaggerated is the wrong word. They can't let their character arcs play out over a very long period of time. They can't have them do a turn one direction then back the other. And then when they do, it feels forced and rushed. A TV show gets to really, it's like as close to a book as you could get while watching on a screen. So The Wire, to me, it's just, they paint with a dark brush. There's no heroes. There's not even really a main character. And it basically shows you that everything's not black and white. There's not just good and evil. That everybody has kind of a degree of good that they are, but they all have their flaws. They all have their master they're trying to please, or their vice that they're trying to serve. It's all, and they go about it very complex. They also don't dumb anything down for you. They just give it to you raw. It does start a little bit slow, and they feed you a lot of characters and a lot of information very quick that you don't have context for, and it takes a little bit to kind of get your footing along the way. But once you get in there, the reason that a TV series is superior to a movie, or at least a totally different thing, is because you get the serial aspect of it, where the episodes tie together, and when you finish one, it's so fucking good that you feel compelled to watch the next one, to where it becomes a problem, where you're losing sleep or staying up way later than you should because you can't stop watching it. That's what The Wire is to me. It's just the ultimate show, and as time passes, I fear that it's going to not hold up as well, because a lot of the technology issues and the context that it takes place in is going to be obsolete. So the new generation, it's not going to resonate as well. But for me, it's as good as it gets. So traditionally, I start the podcast by making a cup of coffee, then taking a hit off the bong and starting the show. I've already made my coffee because I actually recorded a movie commentary right before this. But I do have my bong here, so I will cut the opening ribbon or throw out the first pitch, inaugural ceremony, whatever the fuck you want to call it, and we will get the show started. And this is The Wire Season 1, Episode 1, titled The Target, and I'm watching it on Amazon Prime. The Sopranos probably started the trend of TV shows being like really long extended dramas where the storylines connected through each episode, and that was also on HBO. And then The Wire was just a couple years after that and really tagged onto that to where HBO became like a destination spot for watching television. And people were paying the monthly subscription fee just so they could watch the new episodes of The Sopranos and The Wire, Curb Your Enthusiasm. HBO would put out some great original content. Nowadays they have Game of Thrones. They had 6 Feet Under way back when. They've done a lot of great shows over the years. Okay, I've done enough talking. 90% of the listeners probably turned it off at this point. Hey, there's always the fast forward button. Okay, so I'm watching this on Amazon Prime, and I am going to hit play in 3, 2, 1, play. Classic HBO. It's not HBO, it's regular ass TV. So we start off right away, we're at a murder scene. We've got the beautiful shot of the lights reflecting in the blood on the pavement. There's a dead body laying here. And we're going to get introduced to McNulty. McNulty is my favorite character in the show, and I think Dominic West does an awesome job playing him, and I'm shocked that Dominic West didn't get more leading roles and things. He's a great actor in this show. So the guy who died, his nickname is Snot Boogie. And basically the rundown that McNulty gets is that every time these guys play dice out on the corner, this guy Snot Boogie asks if he can get in. He rolls a few, the pot gets big, and then he snatches the whole pot of money out of the center and runs. And they catch him and beat the shit out of him. But they still let him play. Somebody decided to kill him this time. So he's going to tell McNulty, why would somebody kill this dude? He's been doing the same shit for years.
Definitely not. He could have just whipped his ass like we always whipped his ass. I agree with you.
McNulty, we don't know yet, but he's a murder detective.
Kill a man over some bullshit.
So he's not dressed in the uniform, worried about traffic violations. He's got to do the talking to people, the looking at the scenes, the legwork. He's plain clothes, as they say.
Like every time. It's not. It fade a few shooters. Play it out to the pots deep.
See, and they are not going to dumb it down for you. They have people talking the way people talk. And you have to catch up. It's up to you. They're not trying to be appealing to everybody. They're going to resonate heavily with the audience that this is made for, and that's good enough for them. But they have a great point right here. McNulty asks, why would you let him play if you know he's going to snatch it and run? And the response is, this is America, man. You've got to. I fucking love that. Like, it's not even an option. You have to give him a chance. It's America. What do you even say to that? There's poor Snot Boogie. That guy's face looks familiar. I feel like he plays somebody else later in the series. I think they have a couple actors play multiple characters. Like, one of them dies, and then later they bring him back and have him play a different person. The first time I watched this intro and heard this song, I thought I was a little fucking cheeseball, but it starts to get good to you. It gets into your soul to where you're singing along. With Jesus, He'll save your soul. Gotta keep the devil way down in the hole. And of course, we don't know that yet at this point if you've never seen the series. I should say, if you've never seen the series, stop listening to this and go back and watch it. This is not even close to being a replacement for watching this amazing production. But I'm assuming anybody who's decided to listen to this is a fan. I'm just going to kind of share what I'm seeing, through lines maybe. I want to point out that I don't know that other people noticed. I'll post some questions that I've pondered that I never found an answer to. Some of the shit I say might be dumb. Some of the shit I say you might not like. It's all in good fun. I'm not trying to be the expert, the end-all be-all on The Wire. I'm just watching it with you guys. Or, for some of you, summarizing and narrating it for you if you're not watching it at the same time. But in later seasons, they use the exact same song, but they have somebody different sing it, and then they change the little cut scenes to scenes from the current season, which is a great idea. And then every episode starts with that black screen, the white text, which is a quote from one of the characters in the show, in the episode we're about to watch. So this episode's was McNulty, When It's Not Your Turn.
And is that your signature on that photo array card?
And it kind of picks up in the middle of a storyline. Like, there is no beginning and there is no end to The Wire. This is just a snippet of what is continuously going on, is what they're trying to show us.
Sitting in the courtroom today.
So we're just walking into a court case that's already in process. So I'll point out people to help you guys if anybody hasn't seen it, but that's Stringer in the glasses. This is D.
He's right there.
For the record, the witness has identified the defendant, D'Angelo Barksdale.
Yeah, D'Angelo Barksdale, that's him.
Your witness.
That is the lawyer. I forget his name, but he's in the series the whole way through. He's a drug dealer lawyer.
No.
And this guy was a witness to a murder, and he identified D'Angelo. And D'Angelo's uncle runs the show.
Call your next witness.
State calls Nikisha Lyles, Your Honor.
So there's Stringer, and they game the system. They basically they intimidate witnesses. They do what they got to do to get these cases thrown out. And McNulty knows that, so he came in just to watch and see what happens.
Nothing but the truth, so help you God. I do.
Ma'am, can you state your name, please?
Nikisha Lyles.
And are you employed?
Yes, I am.
And he knows who they all are because they've done this to him before.
I'm a security guard.
So again, we're starting in the middle of a story. It would be hard to find a beginning to this.
Uh-huh.
And what were your duties on that day?
I was in the booth of 221.
Damn, that's a pretty complex drawing that quickly.
In the lobby of the Fremont Avenue high-rise?
It's got skills.
And you're behind bulletproof glass?
Stringer is the business, the brains behind the operation.
Good. Now, Ms. Lyles, I know this may be difficult.
Levy, Marv Levy? No, that's not it.
A man.
Marv Levy's a basketball guy, right?
And when another man just starts beating on him. And like the one man, he got knocked down and
The victim got
So in the I want to try to.
the man who was knocked down.
The guy that you can still see in frame to the left of Stringer is Weebay,
See that man in the
obviously McNulty. Oh no, Mama's the same.
Nope.
Excuse me?
He ain't here.
So that's a turn. It would be more dramatic if we knew all the details of the case, but again, they're just kind of starting us in the middle. this witness is changing her mind. She had identified D'Angelo, and now she's going back against her word, which they finagled through hook or crook. They paid her, they threatened her, whatever they had to do.
Identified this photo as the man who shot.
It looked like one of the guys in the photo range. So that's Stinkum with the braids, and in the back is, or no, the bald guy is Stinkum. I forgot the guy with the braids' name.
But you identified him.
Well, that's because he looked like the boy that did it. See, the one that did it, I saw him come in the building a week later.
You saw someone else you thought did the shooting.
Right.
So this witness testimony is enough to change the jury's mind. It's a reasonable doubt, right? And you have to be guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
I called Detective,
And these are all individual cases, so the court never really notices that they're connected and that it's this giant organization
he didn't call me back.
that is circumventing the justice system.
Yeah, twice. Yeah, we're down in the law.
This judge looks frustrated by it. And you've got this asshole on the phone is another detective, and he's not even in there listening to the court case. He's talking about fucking pressure-treated lumber for his deck on the phone.
Barksdale's crew, they turned it.
2 eyewitnesses and a statement. No fucking way, pal.
You're naive.
You listen to me, you little shit. There is no way in hell I'd think that. No.
Use my goddamn car to show
This show will go a long way towards shattering your perfect reality if you have or if you're if you see the world through rose-colored goggles.
it ain't what she says.
So basically, he's showing you, we have the evidence, we have witnesses, we took this to court, and this guy's going to get off because they finagled it. It's not all a perfect ending. You'd like to think they got him. That's justice, but it doesn't always work out clean like that.
You got the uniforms on the horn.
Now we're just thrown into another thing. We don't even know who these people are. That's Kima. She's another cop.
Might come back with the money.
The girl sitting in her back seat's an informant. She put him hip to this drug dealing setup, and they're about to bust him. They usually try to bust the drug dealing operations when the new drugs are coming in or when the money's going out, because that's the biggest moment. And it has to be organized and scheduled somewhat. So that's Herc, the white cop. And then the other cop with the leather jacket, the black one, is Carver. They're partners. And they start on parallel arcs, but then Carver starts to kind of turn away, and they end up in very different parts of their life by the end of the series. You'll see a lot of scenes similar to this, where they're busting people, searching their vehicle, getting drugs, money. I don't know if this is accurate to the point in time it was made, but I believe that like 10, 15 years before the show was made, there was a horrible heroin problem in Baltimore. So I think they were just replicating that, but in a modern setting. Unfortunately, the show came out right before technology fucking exploded and we got touchscreen phones and all this. So the context really changed. The devices that the drug dealers are using, all that, it just seems so retro, much more than it should. See, these guys are kind of happy-go-lucky. She's a stickler for details. By the book.
All rise. Part 12 of the circuit court.
This poor judge has to come in. McNulty drugged this ragged-ass other detective in to see his court case fall apart.
As to the defendant, D'Angelo Barksdale, how say you to the charge of murder?
And you can see the celebration.
Not guilty.
How say you to the charge of murder in the second degree?
His whole crew back there is going to jump up and celebrate like he just won a basketball game. Which they shouldn't really do. It makes you look suspicious.
is to be thanked for its services in this case. Deputies will return defendant Barksdale to pretrial for processing prior to his release.
The celebration kind of tips the hat of what's going on. You don't want anybody on you at all, right? It's like if you're going to be racing people, don't you want your car to look like it's not fast so they don't see you coming? I don't know if it's Idris or Idris Elba, but his performance in this show is second to none. You can't even tell he has an accent, and he plays this intelligent gangster role fucking perfect.
What the hell happened out there?
We lost.
And throughout the show, it just builds and builds the level of his personality and how deep it gets.
It was Barlow's case brought you in court.
So the judge is pulling McNulty's coat, wanting to know what the fuck just happened in his courtroom. It was obvious to him that something was finagled.
Customers, it's time to get out of the business.
So Jimmy has some pent-up frustration because he's had similar things happen to him, and he's observed it as a pattern. He knows that these people, this organization is a bit out of control. So he's going to go outside the chain of command, so to speak, and a bit over his head here, and spill the beans about this kind of conspiracy that he's seen, so to speak, with this crew and murders and getting them overturned. And when he puts the judge hip to it, the judge calls the major, and then the major, shit rolls downhill, right? So it creates a shitstorm, and it's really a taboo move to go outside rank and outside the police, your division and stuff like that in the police force. At least that's the way they carry it. He gets in a lot of trouble for sharing this information with the judge right here.
Who's working?
It's the catalyst for the entire show. This is what it's called, The Wire, because of wiretap, and this is what starts the necessity for the wire, is this conversation right here. It all begins right in this moment. I'm sorry about the phlegmy snort earlier. I gotta get it cleared out so that I can keep speaking. Next time I'll try to move the mic so that it's not so loud. You know I love you. Wouldn't do anything to hurt you on purpose. Just being me. Sometimes it happens. These fucking goofballs. She seems like she has a career, and they seem like they have a job. Now this is Lieutenant Daniels, the Jerry Rice looking dude. He's a bad motherfucker too. There's so many lovable and memorable characters in this show. All the way down from the cops to the drug dealers to the homeless people. And I don't know how the elements were able to come together to produce such a perfect product, because a lot of these people didn't really go on to do much else. So how was there, like, was it the writing, the direction? Was their talent exposed so well in this, and nobody else was really able to capture it? Or did they all develop a certain cachet and had a price tag so high that they all got kind of shoved into these cookie cutter shows from this point on? Carver, he is in The Walking Dead. He was in Oz. He's in this. He's been in a bunch of shit. Herc was in Entourage. Another detail they missed. Again, she's a stickler. That's her character the entire way. She is unwavering. And these guys, Herc and Carver at this point, are a product of their environment. They aren't worried about protecting the community and enforcing the law. They just want to kick people's asses, and that's because of how they were brought up. We don't get that development till later on, but that's what it is. They were taught that you go on the corner, you knock these dudes into the wall, you arrest them, take their shit, whatever. So this is Wendell Pierce. Bunk Moreland is McNulty's partner. So McNulty told him not to answer the phone because they weren't up to catch the next murder call. But he was waiting for a call, and he did catch a body. See, that was the quote from the beginning of the show, when it ain't your turn. See, even though he does want to solve crimes, he still doesn't want to solve them when it's not his turn. It's not about solving everything. He's got kind of an ego thing. He just likes the satisfaction of looking so smart when he solves the crime. It's not like this hero, like, there's a dead body, I gotta figure it out. It's like, God damn it, why did you answer the phone and now we gotta solve this case? So the shit started to roll downhill now.
Now you just pissed? It should be. You didn't have answers for the deputy's questions.
So it went to the deputy, then to the major. Now it's going down to the lieutenants. Each department's getting their ass chewed out for not knowing about this extravagant criminal operation.
West Side player who apparently indulges in the occasional murder. As of today,
And this guy's been keeping it low key. For a minute, he's been killing this shit low key. None of these cops even know his name. McNulty's the only one who knows his fucking name. He's been doing a remarkable job. He'd almost, if he just pulled out a little bit sooner and distanced himself a little bit sooner, he might have been able to totally get in and out the game without anybody catching wind. And then just bankroll from then, just be completely out of it. That's what they're ultimately trying to do. They're trying to be wholesalers and only touch money and never be close to drugs. But unfortunately, the police catch your name, get on the radar. They got a file on you forever now. They don't know what he looks like. They don't have his date of birth. They don't know shit about him. I've always thought that this lieutenant, Jay Lansing, the Jay Lansing character, doesn't he look like a fat John Cena? Every time I see him, I think fat John Cena. Even his haircut, he's got the charisma. He's just fat John Cena. No disrespect, dude. You play this role perfect. See, fat John Cena. See, the other squad was supposed to get that call. They should have to solve that murder. It's about statistics and just doing your work, not really caring about the whole bigger picture. So this is like the head honcho. This is Deputy Rawls. You do not want this guy on your bad side. He pulls the strings. And he's a dickhead. McNulty knows he fucked up. And he's not even remotely politically correct when he's talking to subordinates. He just lets it fly. Yeah, see, he's talking to the judges instead of talking to his superiors. But the superiors wouldn't listen to him because you find out that they really just care about lowering the appearance of murder numbers. If they can get...
There only be 3 in court.
I got the deputy asking about 10.
No, they did 10. We only charged you with 3.
See,
You're full of shit.
So you can check
they would rather these cases not be known about.
Boyd, Roland Leggett.
than have to solve them in a way.
Tell her to collect something on it. I mean, Major, these guys are real. They beat me up on the Gerard Bogue case just like they did Barlow. Scroggins?
And McNulty, to his credit, is willing to put his neck on the line
Last year, summer.
to have his story heard.
Low-rise courtyard.
But it's more about him than it is about cleaning up the city, in a way.
Bust my balls over a prior year case.
He's trying to stroke his own ego with this big ordeal instead of just the mundane day in, day out solving another murder.
Go back a little, you know? You want to know what I know about the crew in his court. I didn't mean to cross you.
Like this is going to be the big culmination of his police career.
About murders that don't mean a shit to anybody. Look, sir, this judge, he fucks me up. He asked me a question, I answer it. I didn't know they were gonna call anybody.
It's got a point there.
You have my attention, detective.
But
My complete undivided.
when the guy at the top of the place you work is giving you double middle fingers while sitting at his desk, telling you that they're going up your fucking narrow ass, it's not a good sign for your future.
You're typing. Sir. Deputy wants a report on his desk.
And he's going to treat you like his little bitch for a while now.
No typos. Make it look right, then put my name on it.
Do my work for me and have it ready in the morning.
All the murders, or should I soft pedal that? Fucking horses out the barn door, right? Let's try not to make me look stupid twice. And when you list the cases, put a little dot next
They're called bullet points, man.
to deputy like
How do you not know what a fucking bullet point is? Kima's using a goddamn typewriter for her case files. She had to use whiteout. That's something kids nowadays cannot relate to.
It's crazy in there, yo. East side, west side,
And that's just because the police department hasn't hooked up their shit. They're so behind.
internet.
There was definitely computers when this was made.
Courthouse, too. Said, nah, I ain't know what the fuck was gonna happen.
So this is D'Angelo and Weebay riding together. Weebay's reasonably high up, but he's basically muscle. He's an enforcer. He kills people, things of that sort. D'Angelo's talking about how awesome it was that they juked the murder case and got that witness to change. And now we're going to get a hint at exactly how strict the operation is. Weebay pulls him out of the car and tells him that we don't talk in the fucking car.
What's the rule?
Yep, what's the rule?
Say it. Don't talk in the car. Or on the phone or in any place that ain't ours. Don't say shit to anybody who ain't us. But it was just you, yo. It's your fucking truck.
It doesn't matter, you gotta follow the rules. They're strict. And that's how they've gotten to this point without getting caught. It's gotta be a very organized operation. It's mafia-like. It essentially is mafia. It just doesn't have its roots in another country going all the way back, any of that shit. Damn, that was a booty. This place is weird to me, and I don't exactly understand the dynamic. I guess is stripping illegal, so they dance in lingerie, and then instead of getting lap dances, the dudes buy the girl a drink, and it costs $20, and the girl just sits there with them and has a drink. It's kind of a very odd establishment. Coming from, I live in Portland. You can go to one of many strip clubs in this area, and within 5 minutes you will have a girl's exposed asshole 7 inches from your face. We get the whole show here. They squat down in front of you and have their pussy lips right there. They bend over and touch their toes facing away from you, not clothed. Get their tits about as close to your face as they can without touching you. The whole 9 yards. So, when you've been in a place like that, to see a place like this that is so prudish and mellowed down is weird. The idea that somebody would want to go pay one of these girls $20 to sit next to him and have a drink, that's fucking, I don't get it. Did I see a girl actually stripping in the background up there? Well, she's got her tits exposed except for tassels. I'm confused about the dynamics of this business. But this is Avon that D'Angelo's talking to. Avon runs the whole fucking show. This is one of his fronts that he uses basically to run his operation out of. This is where their office is. It's Orlando's Gentlemen's Club.
You right. Sit your ass down.
D'Angelo's getting a lecture about how you can't have problems like this. It causes attention, it costs money, time. You can't have it.
You in our building. You got people on both stairs. You got more motherfucking people out in the court.
You're in our building.
You
Like,
got a gun. So what I'm trying to figure out is
this is a big deal.
security booth with all them people around.
I mean, their operation. They're moving a lot of drugs. They're making a lot of money.
It's about you. You can't play him out of that lobby.
But this is
You
like,
can't take a beating.
this is legit gangster shit. This is,
You get all emotional.
you want to be in the game, you got to carry yourself a certain way. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
No.
You can't just fuck up. Well, one fuck up could be the end.
That one motherfucking thing I want to hear.
And he's being hard on him. He's not taking a soft line. He's not letting him just cop out and get a simple apology. It's like, no, how are you going to change this and not let it happen again? This is a business. This is not going to happen again. Right?
I ain't never seen a white woman turn so red.
And D'Angelo's got this like defensive joking thing going on.
Yo, man, you family.
He doesn't know how to handle this. Like,
That shit costs money. It costs time and money. You gonna make that right? See, when I get back to the town, I'm gonna push the niggas.
and essentially the only reason Avon's willing to extend, well, one, he's his uncle, they're family, but also they don't spend that kind of money on you unless they're positive once you get out they're going to be able to make more money than that off of you. That's how that shit works.
You family, right?
So he's got to get his ass to work now and get on the hustle and start bringing in money to replenish what they had to spend on the lawyers to get his ass out. And I guess this is the life of a police detective. Jimmy is typing through the night, and the guy who's on the opening shift is at the desk behind him sleeping. I don't... Seems like it consumes your life. It seems like if you're going to have this job, you almost have to be the McNulty type character and have nothing else going on. This has to be... It consumes you. At least if you want to be good at it. I don't know... If I had a murder I was trying to solve, I don't know how you go home and turn that off. It seems very hard. Takes a special breed. I know that. At least to be good at it. There's probably a lot of people get into it that shouldn't be doing it. I don't know that for a fact. I'm just pontificating. I don't know a goddamn thing.
Don't make your dick bust concrete to be in the same room with two noble...
This poor motherfucker is just trying to sleep. Characters, I think his name's Ray Cole.
Tell me you put this one down. Of course not. And of course your partner over here has to go over to the courthouse and lay out business out in front of a judge. You heard?
Everybody's riding his ass about that. He can't catch a break. It's got dots.
Got dots. Deputy loves dots. Oh, I did ask questions. He's a fucking judge. And the deputy's the fucking deputy. And he, not the judge, has what's left of your beshitted career in his hot little hands.
And the threats of the career, they do, like, you toe the company line or they steer your life into the shitter, and I mean hard.
Headquarters security.
And he's baiting him right here.
The Marine unit.
He's asking him
Diesel fuels that make me feel seasick.
what the worst case scenario is for him work-wise.
Throw this against the tent.
What station does he want least? And he goes ahead and tells him. Now somebody has that information and they can use that against you. He said, hey, what's your weakness? And he said, this is my weakness. Cool. Someday I might be in a position where it's my head or your head on the line, and I know this weakness of yours. D'Angelo's about to show up to work and find out that he doesn't work in the same place anymore. So apparently they have levels or tiers, you know, like any corporation would, any organization. Crime, mafia, organized, otherwise. So he's been downgraded from a tower, as they say, which is an apartment building, a project, and now he's going to the ghetto to be in the courtyard. They call it the pit. He's disappointed with that, but he's got to grin and bear it. They just got you out of a murder beef. You could be in jail right now for killing someone. You got how show some fucking gratitude. Stringer's cold. Like, no sweat on his brow. A lot of dots.
How did people deal with Daniels? Right.
So they've gone into their meeting with, I forget what his title is, the commissioner, I believe, and they've got their marching orders to bury this case, not bury it, but to put this case down, fucking solve it. This is the big headline that needs put down. And based off the meeting, Rawls says that McNulty's dead to him, which does not bode well for McNulty. Now we're introduced to the environment where most of this season is going to take place. The pit. That fucking classic orange couch. It's going to become the trademark of this season. This is Bodie. He's kind of like second in command out there. There's Wallace, Michael B. Jordan, and Poot is the other kid. And this is the crew. These guys sell heroin in the fucking ghetto. And it breaks the whole operation down. This person takes the money, that person gives the drugs out. So it's all pretty straightforward right now. It hasn't had a chance to connect dots and give you through lines and make itself truly interesting. It's just, at face value, it's just kind of a generic police show at this point. It really takes a few episodes for you to be like, oh my god, this is so fucking good. So Jerry Rice, Lieutenant Daniels, has been tasked with leading this unit of detectives to investigate Avon Barksdale and satisfy the judge. The judge basically is the one. McNulty lit a fire under the judge, and the judge is the problem. The judge is putting heat on the commissioner, etc. So they're going to put together a crew of people and come up with a strategy for bringing down Avon. This is our first introduction to Bubbles. Bubbles is the most likable homeless heroin addict you've ever seen. The acting is just on point. It's fucking perfect. And they put you hip to game. He's using paper money. He puts a little bit of coffee on it to dirty it up and give it a different feel. He wraps it in real money just so they can go over there and game these dudes out of a fucking one hit of heroin. He's a smart dude. He just got on this fucking path and can't get out of it. He seems to enjoy it, though, oddly enough. And D'Angelo's like, what the fuck is going on right now? This is so sloppy. You gotta have some organization, some protections in place. Some checkpoints.
Look, you can't serve your customers straight up after taking their money. Somebody snapping pictures, they got the whole damn thing. See what I'm saying?
It's gotta be a little bit more covert, even though everybody knows what's going on. It's crazy. Like, they put this system in place, and all the junkies just know exactly what's up. They know where to go. It's so weird. I don't know nothing about that. Going to like some weird place just out in public that's like a drug shop and copping something. Anytime I ever got weed or anything, it was from like a person at their house, and I usually knew them, or a friend of mine knew them. Wasn't like, hey, let's go down to the park and buy weed from the Rastafarian dudes.
This look like money, motherfucker. Money be green.
Bubbles got the fake money pass, and D'Angelo caught it.
That shit look green to you?
Dead fucking president on it.
I don't give a fuck about the president. That shit ain't money. Ain't no president.
See, Wallace is the smartest one. We just got a hint of that.
Ain't no president. Niggas, you crazy.
See?
Every ass white man get his face on no legal motherfucking tender set.
They all just think that because his face is on the money, he's a president. Wallace is like, he wasn't no president.
You hear me? You ain't even gonna be serving no more. Your ass be out on the bottom end of Vine Street sucking on a 40 yelling 5-0. You hear me? Get the fuck out of here.
He gives him a tongue lashing, but that's relatively mild punishment for the culture. Bodie's like, you're not gonna whoop his ass. He just cost you $20. Should break one of his legs or something. The offense and the punishment are never very equally weighted in the drug game. Seems like the punishment far outweighs the offense. They come at you hard to nip that shit in the bud. Whenever somebody steps out of line, they make an example out of them because they do not want anybody ever stepping out of line. It's a zero tolerance policy. And D'Angelo's, he's kind of soft compared to the rest of them. For one of these gangster guys to make it up this high in the dealing game, he's got the best heart. He's softer than the rest of them for sure. He's softer than Avon, Stringer, Weebay, Bodie. He killed that dude, but it was out of fear. Like, Avon even addressed it. He's like, you can't bang your way out of there, meaning like you can't fight. You're worried about getting your ass kicked. You're fearing for your own safety, so you panic and shoot this guy, and now we have a murder case to deal with. It's spelling out that D'Angelo's a little more hesitant to do some of the more cold-hearted things that go along with the drug game. But he did shoot somebody in a fucking panic, which isn't a great character trait. That was a great conversation between Bubbles and Johnny. I was just talking over it. But essentially, Johnny's new to the being homeless heroin addict game. And Bubbles is trying to educate him and help him get ripe.
No kettle recorders, no DNR. I want to get in and out as quickly as possible.
See, we don't want to do a good job. We want to do a quick job. That's the speech he's getting right here. We'll do enough to satisfy this guy. We don't really care if it gets completely resolved. We just need him to leave us alone. Which is a pretty much, to this point, is a different dynamic than you'd been shown from the cops in television shows. You always had like your bad cop, your rogue cop, your vigilante cop, but you never got the information from the top down in this way. That we're just trying to keep it short and simple. We're not into doing deep investigative work.
I wouldn't be surprised if you gave me naughty.
It's almost like an allegory, or
Well, he's the one who mouthed off.
it's pretty representative of what journalism is nowadays. There is basically no digging in deep in journalism. There's no long-term investigative journalism uncovering issues because the news cycle happens too fast and everybody just cares about hits. So it's just get it out, get it out, get it out, get it out, get it out. And that's essentially what he just got told about this drug case. And that's what they do with the murders. We want it quick and easy. We don't want to get too deep. We don't care enough. Just make the judge leave us alone, please.
Yeah, Special Agent Fitzhugh, Squad 5.
McNulty's now visiting the FBI. Hardcore security. He can't even get in there without an escort, and he's a Baltimore police officer. This is Special Agent Fitzhugh, who we will see sporadically throughout the entire series. McNulty asks him for advice, asks him to loan him equipment, various things of that nature. I think they used to work together. I don't know how they know each other exactly.
Good stuff, brother. Good stuff, man. That gave us a hell of a case. House informants, Jimmy, you can pick 'em.
Damn. Look at how clean and sterile and just clinical this place looks compared to where Jimmy works. And these motherfuckers, this is like 2002. They've got a camera in the wall streaming, watching these guys as they make, I wanted to say make drugs. They're packaging, they're cutting and packaging drugs in this kitchen.
Story walk up on Homer Avenue to the bottoms of Pimlico.
This is going on right now?
So nowadays, they're probably listening to me talk about this live. The government.
So small, looks like a nail might have made it.
Where's the mic? These motherfuckers sound great.
That's creepy.
Find the baseboard heating ducts. That's about 3K or all.
So this was 17 years ago? Jesus, no way.
We're backing into we could have a Title III on right now.
My favorite TV show started 17 years ago. That just made me feel old. I didn't even discover it till it was almost over. By the time I made it through the entire series, it had been off air for a year.
For a while, yeah. We just don't have the manpower to say anything big. Not since those towers fell.
What, we don't have enough love in our hearts for 2 wars?
So this is after 9/11, and the FBI is getting out of drug investigations because it's all becoming terrorism, because that's the hot button issue. So he literally said they're not even going to be taking on drug cases anymore. See, now white boy Johnny, who was just talking about how he's ripe, how he's brown, how he's schooled in the game, he's ready to practice. He's about to try the money game, and it ain't going to work. Well, it works temporarily. Wallace doesn't belong in this environment either. He's too much of a sweetheart kid. But this is our first glimpse into how great of an actor Michael B. Jordan was. I don't know if he was in Hardball first or this first, but he was a great teenager actor, and he's developed into a pretty good adult actor. See, he's panicky. He's too nervous because he's got to get this transaction over with because he's using fake money. So then when he drops it, he just takes off because he can't handle the stress of the situation. He's not brown. And I don't mean his skin color. I mean the conversation him and Bubbles were having about essentially being ripe. And this becomes this little insignificant interaction becomes the biggest mistake that anybody in the drug organization makes. They beat Johnny's ass right here for $10. Whoop his ass, put him in intensive care in the hospital. And it really breaks Bubbles' heart. And Bubbles is close with a police officer because he's been arrested several times and he's done some work with her, and so he puts them onto the case of this crew who they're already investigating, but they don't know it, and now they have an in. So them beating this dude's ass right here becomes a major moment. And D'Angelo's torn, like you can see. He's not as hard as the rest of them. He can't make the call. He doesn't want this dude to get his ass beat over $10 fucking. But that's the culture.
Hell yeah!
For now, we'll work out of narcotics. The key to keeping the file. We'll copy everything around here at the courthouse and move people down the hall.
So this is their little crew getting together. District Attorney Rhonda,
If anything could be manufactured there.
Lieutenant Daniels, McNulty, Kima.
We put some years over top some of these low-level people will roll a few, no problem. You're not gonna get Avon Parks.
That classic theory.
Anyone else about the street, not on street.
If you have a weak
These guys are good.
organization that doesn't have appropriate decompartmentalization, then you can get buy, bust, roll up the chain, get some major players. But in a militaristic run,
Okay, so I'm an asshole for that, but I'm right about this.
organized crime outfit, that's not gonna work. And that's, in order for it to work, it literally has to be
Seems to me
military style.
between yourselves before calling in the state's attorney's office.
That's how the mob was run.
What do you know about
It's military style, and there is a person in charge. Orders go downhill, chain of command. That's the way it works.
Paris for a year. What are we happening right now? DOB? Sheet?
Shit rolls downhill, money goes up, right?
You don't even have a fucking photo of the guy. Give me a break, Jimmy.
So this is McNulty's big protest because he's finding out that he's brought this case to their attention, this massive underground organization. They're not underground, but underworld
Prosecutor, you need a fucking
criminal element that's running parts of the city, committing murders and getting away with them, intimidating witnesses. And he finds out the city's response to that is a really shallow, scratching the surface investigation. They're just gonna arrest some low-level dealers and see if they can build up from there. And he knows it's not gonna work
bring me your hand-to-hands, anything on the murders, you can take to
because this organization's so big that anybody important is nowhere near the street level handling money or drugs. And they aren't even going to be really associated with it. They don't even meet those people. There's a disconnect between the very top and the bottom, as there is with like a corporation. You aren't going to get Stringer and Avon rolled up in a charge by busting Wallace. It just ain't going to happen.
If she's fucking you on visitation, take her ass to court. Now that's simple.
This is a scene we visit frequently in the series as well. McNulty and Bunk at the bar shooting the shit,
Went around.
moping.
So when I have to work through a weekend, he switches with me. The judge gives me 3 weekends with no flex. I still lose.
So we find out here McNulty's divorced. He has 2 kids, shared custody, and his wife is reasonably flexible with him on it.
Pissed off at you. You know Daniels? Narcotics? Mm-hmm. What about him? He's running this detail.
McNulty trusts Bunk probably more than anybody,
Are you a snake? No, he ain't that, but
which is important later.
comfy, man. You know?
Even right here, it's important. He trusts Bunk's opinion and what Bunk says, and
Nothing his.
Bunk basically tells him that Daniels will do
He hasn't pissed anybody off.
what helps him out with the commanding officers first and foremost. He follows chain of command. He's loyal. He's not going to go outside the lines at all.
Buy bust.
Like
Pissing in the wind.
what McNulty did earlier talking to the judge, Daniels would never do that.
Feel like that motherfucker at the end of Bridge on the River Kwai, you know? The fuck is
It's a literary reference that I don't get because I don't read books. Sorry, dude. I just watch TV shows like The Wire. I'm a 90s kid, bro. Not a 90s baby. I'm an 80s baby. But I was alive for like just over 2 years of the 80s. I don't remember it. So I'm a 90s kid. Hey, no, I saw her ass for just a second and I wanted a more clear view. And I didn't. Oh, there's some titties. I guess they do strip? I'm confused.
It ain't the money.
I feel happy in pants.
Message, G. You can't show no weakness. Still, I'm saying. What?
See, he doesn't belong here. He's basically only gotten this far because his uncle is Avon. he wouldn't be here on his own merits, it seems. And he doesn't have the heart for it. His blood's pumping Kool-Aid. There's that ass. I see it. I guess it is a strip club, and I don't fucking know. I was just talking shit earlier. But this, hey, you want a drink? Costs $20. I don't know what that's about. What am I getting for this? Are you jerking me off under the table? You better be good at jerking off for $20, and there better be something in front of me that's nice to look at. If I have to close my eyes and use my imagination, I want 50% off. See this column I'm leaning against? This shit is uncomfortable. I'm about to get up. What makes you think I want to buy you a drink? I'm just trying to watch this light-skinned girl strip. Can you let me watch this? Can I just watch it? Can I get a titty? Can I glimpse the ass? Can I just please get a little ass, please? Can I show me your pussy? He's just not in the mood to deal with her right now, so he blows her off. Yeah, no shit. I'm slightly distracted by the girl's ass going in and out of... She's dressed again. What? Continuity issue, maybe? So now Kima has come home, and we find out that she's a lesbian. She seemed kind of tomboyish, so it makes sense, I guess. And I think she's studying to become a lawyer. And that's her girlfriend. That's their window unit air conditioner. So Kima is a hard fucking worker. And she's doing this law thing, but her heart's not in it. She likes to be on the street, doing investigations, busting heads. She likes to be in that. That's what she was meant to do. She's like a Hawaiian black mix. Yeah, like the Rock kind of. I know the Rock is Samoan and black, but you know what I mean. This is one of the funnier parts to me in the whole series. His wife calls and tells him that there's a mouse in the closet, so he goes home and he shoots the fucking mouse. And McNulty says, "What'd you do with the body?" And Buck says, "I left it there as a threat to the other motherfuckers." He shot it with his service weapon too. These guys are raging alcoholics. They drink way too fucking much. But the shit that they see and have to deal with, and then on top of that, to see justice not get served in so many circumstances, it's got to be disheartening. Like, I heard Bill Burr say that he looks at your soul as being pixelated, and every time you see something like that, a few pieces of it fly away. And I think there's something to that. I think there's a point of no return where you've seen so much of that shit that you're just changed forever. But it seems to be a cumulative effect. It just slowly goes away. Just slowly. Like, let's say the first time you see a dead body, it might be 7 fly away. Then the next time it might be 5. But then every time after that, it's 2. 2, 2, 2. Till you have no pixels. And then you need somebody to come in your mouth and you get more pixels. I think that's how that works. I'll volunteer. Did a bit of a juke there where McNulty looked like he was going to stand there and let the train hit him. And he just casually walked off the tracks right as it went by. Now Bubbles is at the hospital and he's distraught over his buddy Johnny, his running mate, the ambiguously gay duo. He's standing there like a junkie. He's got that junkie lean to him. His portrayal of a fucking junkie is so on point. And it's the detail. They get damn near everything right. So he calls up Kima and he's going to put Kima on the case to help him out. Let me tell you about this drug crew that beat the fuck out of my friend. And it just so happens to be an inn for Avon that she's investigating already. Now they have a starting point.
You still working drugs?
You still on drugs? Let me tell you something you may not know about me, Kima. I smoke rocks. I'm a Viking, Holmes. Oh, Lanceman.
Found body. 200 block Amity.
I'm trying to think off the top of my head if there's a single character in this entire show that doesn't fit perfectly in its right place. I can't. Maybe throughout the course of doing the commentaries I'll find one, but Landsman, Bunk, McNulty, Kima, Bodie, D'Angelo. It's just fucking spot on the entire way. It's so good I almost can't take it. So now we have our first kind of follow-up moment where this is something that's taken place earlier in the series and we're going to have a callback and something now, like a shockwave. Got a classic murder scene. Bunk's walking up. We're going to see D'Angelo come up in the background here in a second. Oh, there he is. D'Angelo's peeping the scene. He's trying to figure out who it is. Everybody is. And they roll him over, and you see that it's the witness from his murder trial, and it's the one that identified him. Because there was the girl that went against her story and said it was somebody else. But this dude pointed him out, stood by his morals, told the truth, and they killed him to send a message. And now it just hit D'Angelo like, Jesus Christ, I'm free and they still had to kill this guy? So now I'm responsible for another death by proxy? And it fucks him up and he just walks down the sidewalk. And we're gonna get hit with the fucking classic end score beat. Oh, it's good to my soul. By the time you get to the end of the series, you love every element of this, right up to and including the song that plays at the end. That is the first episode of The Wire, Season 1, The Target. Hopefully I did it a just job. I'm getting a little bit tired and my voice is getting a little fucked up, but I'll have more dots to connect and more to talk about as we get through, because this is just the introduction and I don't want to get too far ahead. I want it to kind of be, follow along with what's happening at the moment. I don't want to be giving broad strokes of the whole series on individual episodes. So I appreciate anybody who listened to this. Please like, subscribe, share, all that good shit. Till the next time, this is Devin signing off saying be easy.